Hi, I'm Lawson. Check out my content on here on Substack and on Medium.com. I have a YouTube channel and a blog on WordPress, and I'm also a contributor on DigitalMemmet.com. Just Google the name Lawson Wallace and look for my handsome face, my picture, and have links to all my content. I couldn't think of anything really to talk about on my videos today, so whenever I can't think of a story thing to talk about, I always go back to talking about animals. A lot of times I like to talk about dogs and cats I had in the past. In the 70s, most of the 70s, my family was stationed in Japan. My dad was in the Air Force his whole life. And we had early 72, I think, 73. We got sent to Japan. And it was really a cool place to live. But anyway, we hadn't been on the base very long, and somebody gave us a collie, an oversized collie named Lightning, because he was too big to have a crate for him, and he was getting up in age, and he might not have survived the trip, because that's a long trip, to be in a little crate, even a big crate for a dog. And so we got Lightning. They gave us Lightning, this oversized collie, and he immediately stole all our hearts. And I love that dog to death. But anyway, I always walked and brushed him and bathed him, fed him. And we were in Japan, the first tour, for 3.5 years. And, and inevitably, it was time for us to go home. And we couldn't figure out what to do because, same thing, it would have been too hard of a trip for him, too stressful for him. He would have probably had to been sedated, and you can't sedate anybody for that long. It's a long trip, and he wouldn't have been comfortable, and it was just not doable. So so my mom was active in the church, and, and she knew some, and she put the word out among missionaries, and this missionary family came, just a few weeks before not too long before we went back to the States. Uh, and they adopted our dog. Well, that was this. I couldn't handle it. Before they took the dog out, I went up and locked myself in the bathroom, and I'm crying in the bathroom about this dog. I was a freshman in high school at the time. Next thing I know, my dad's banging on the door, and he's in the bathroom with me, and he's hugging me, and we're both crying, and I'm in the shower, all soap all over me, and we're both bawling our eyes out because we had to get rid of this dog. So we go back to the States, and we weren't happy. So what my dad put in what the wish list of where he wanted to be stationed, and he put bases in Europe and everything. because we had never been to Europe. And at the bottom of the thing, he wrote Yokota Air Force Base, Japan. And of course, the computer said, well, that's where you're going. So a year and a half after we left Japan, we went back to Yokota, same east area. You know, Yokota's huge. They got east area, west area, and an east area, and just right around the block from where we were before. And a lot of the people, kids I knew in high school, were still there, and so it's just like we would never left. And then we weren't there too long, and my mom and my brother found this ad, this index card, giving away a dog. It was posted on a shopette bulletin board. And for some reason, my brother thought it was our dog. So he stole the note, and my mom convinced my mom to go call him. And they called him, and my mom asked him questions. It turned out it was our dog. So they brought the dog over that night. And then we and it was like he never left. He remembered us. I went back to washing him and walking him and feeding him. And then not too long of that, after that, he started getting sick, and we found out he had heartworms. And at the time, there was no real. Once they get heartworms, it's really not, and that especially when it's that bad, there's nothing they can do. So we tried to medicate it, tried to help him, and it just made him worse. So we finally had him. My dad went and had him put down. So that's the story of Lightning, and I don't. Like I said, I don't. I think I shared it before, but I just thought I'd share it again. Let me know what you think, and please subscribe to my newsletter and check out and check my content out and share it. Have a good day.